Hey, good evening, everybody. Hi, it's Sandy Shellis. And tonight, again, I got inspired today. And I, oh, I have a low stream quality, but we're going to do this. We're going to do this because there is so much going on out there. Just so much. And there's Brexit, which is financial, right? That's in the UK. We've got Dorian, which is going to end up being financial because that's going to cost billions of dollars, right? It's going to cost a lot of money, and the Bahamas is in so much trouble, uh, which it's so sad, and it's now hitting the south of United States, and we have the expense of the Brazil fires, whether they make money or they don't make money. Um, for these people, these farmers, it's going to cost, it's ecocide, it's environmental degradation. It's horrible. And we've got, oh my God, I mean, just so much. So this morning, I get a newsletter from Carolyn Baker, and there was this article in here. And let me say hi to you guys. Karen, hi Karen. You know what? I can actually see what color you guys look. Okay, Karen's green. It's so nice to have you guys with me. But so today, and Anthony and Gazer and Zox and Bio. Okay, we're gonna talk about that later, Gazer. I'm gonna read this first, and we're gonna. It's an interesting article. The dude that wrote it is actually a conservative Christian, but he's got a lot of stuff going on for him. He's a writer now, and the article wasn't bad. And so I decided to read it because if Carolyn picked it, then it's probably a pretty good read. 28 signs of economic doom as the pivotal month of September begins. Now this is the United States, but the United States translates into a lot of things globally. And let's go. So, since the end of the last recession, the outlook for the US economy has never been as dire as it is right now. Everywhere you look, economic red flags are popping up, and the mainstream media is suddenly full of stories about the coming recession, right? Isn't it? After several years of relative economic stability, things appear to be changing dramatically for the US economy and the global economy as a whole. Over and over again, we are seeing things happen that we have not witnessed since the last recession. And many analysts expect our troubles to accelerate as we head into the final months of 2019. Boy, does that sound like the final months of 2019. Holy shit. It was just like the final months of 2018. This is how fast it goes, huh? All right. We certainly hope, there's that word, that things will soon turn around, but at this point, that does not appear likely. The following are 28 signs of economic doom as this pivotal month begins. Now, I'm going to read them. Remember, this is the United States. I don't, everybody's financial thing things are different. And right now, mine sucks. So probably none of this applies to me because I'm in the lower, 10% of the 10%. So at this point in life. So here we go. Number one, US and China just slapped painful new tariffs on one another, thus escalating the trade war to an entirely new level. Number two, JP Morgan Chase is projecting that the trade war will cost the average US household $1,000 a year. Number three, yield curve inversions have preceded every single US recession since the 1950s. And the fact that it has happened again is one of the big reasons why Wall Street is freaking out so much lately. Number 4, we just witnessed the largest decline in U.S. consumer sentiment in 7 years. Number 5, mortgage defaults are rising at the fastest pace that we have seen since the last financial crisis. Number 6, sales of luxury homes. Do we know about that, guys? Valued at 1.5 million or higher. I doubt anybody that follows me has a house that expensive. Uh, okay, sales of luxury homes valued at 1.5 million or higher were down 5% during the second quarter of 2019. And the number 7, the U.S. manufacturing sector has contracted for the very first time. Contracted, contracted. I want to fix something on this. I want you to tell me okay, I'm just testing this thing here. Okay, number 8, the Cass Freight Index has been falling for a number of months. According to CNBC, it fell 5.9% in July, following a 5.3% decline in June and a 6% drop in May. Now, I looked it up and I forgot what it was. I know it sounds ridiculous. I'm not an economist, but I can put the dots together. And hey, hi, Max, Karen, Natural Progressive, Chris, Keith. All right, let's keep going because then we'll have a conversation about it. Gross private domestic investment in the United States was down 5.5% during the second quarter of 2019. Number 10, crude oil processing at U.S. refiners has fallen by the most that we have seen since the last recession. Okay, remember, this guy is not, he's a conservative Christian. He's writing this, so he's not going to talk about ecocide and planetary collapse. We are afterwards. Number 11, price of copper often gives us a clear indication of where the economy is heading and is now down 13% over the last 6 months. And number 12, when it looks like an economic crisis is coming, investors often flock to precious metals. So it is very interesting to note that the price of gold is up more than 20% since May. Well, if it is, how come I can't sell my jewelry on eBay? Number 13, women's clothing retailer Forever 21 is reportedly close to filing for bankruptcy protection. Whew, I haven't shopped there in years. Number 14, we just learned that Sears and Kmart will close nearly 100 additional stores by the end of this year. Number 15, domestic shipments of RVs have fallen an astounding 20% so far in 2019. Oh boy, yay. Number 16, the Labor Department has admitted that the U.S. economy actually has 501,000 less jobs than previously thought. So I guess, this is my words, not his. I guess Donald Trump just lies out of his left side and then he lies out of his right side. Okay, number 17, the S&P 500 earnings per share estimates have been steadily falling all year long. I wish Paul McGinley was here. He's probably working. He would be right in on this one. He definitely would be because this is Paul's area, And, okay. Hey, D. Vincent W. Okay, I'm taking a break from this. Wait. You're in north of Cape Canaveral. You live in Cocoa Beach. Okay, sweetheart. We hope that you're okay. We really hope you're okay. Okay, I'm going back to this. I just had to put that up because he's down there. And I've also been sharing what's his name stuff. Alex Londos on Facebook, laying around doing nothing but watching him on Cape Canaveral. Okay, number 18. Morgan Stanley, that bastion of wonderfulness, right, says that the possibility that we will see a global recession is high and rising. Number 19. Global trade fell 1.4% in June from a year earlier, and that was the biggest drop we have seen since the last recession. Number 20, the German economy contracted during the second quarter, and the German central bank is predicting that the third quarter will also post a decline. Number 21, according to CNBC, the S&P 500 just sent a screaming sell signal to US investors. Ooh, of one I am not. Number 22, Masonari, Takeda, Masonari Takeda, got it, is warning that we could soon see a Lehman-like plunge in the stock market. You better watch your 401ks and your 503cs if you have them. Corporate insiders are dumping stocks at a pace that we haven't seen in more than a decade. Number 24, Apple CEO, trader, Tim Cook has been dumping millions of dollars worth of Apple stock. Number 25, instead of pumping his company's funds into the stock market, the man we love so much, Warren Buffett, has decided to hoard $122 billion of cash. This appears to be a really clear indication that he believes a crisis is coming. Number 26, investors are selling their shares in emerging market funds at a pace that we have never seen before. Sounds like the climate change problems we've never seen before. Number 27, the Economic Policy Uncertainty Index hit the highest level that we have ever seen in the month of June. Economic uncertainty. It's really economic policy uncertainty. I think a lot of us have economic uncertainty. I suffer from economic uncertainty. I really do. I'm just playing around with this thing, trying to see if it looks like if everything is like going like this on the screen with the green screen. Anyway, I digress. Number 28, it's the last one. Number 28, Americans are searching Google for the term recession more frequently than we have ever seen at any time since 2009. And guess what? I Googled it today because of the article. All right. So the signs are very clear. But unfortunately, we live at a time when normalcy bias is rampant in our society, and my back bias is rampantly killing me today. Okay. If you're not familiar with the normalcy bias, here's Wikipedia, and I'll read it to you. The normalcy bias or normality bias is a belief people hold when considering the possibility of a disaster. It causes people to underestimate both the likelihood of a disaster and its possible effects because people believe that things will always function the way things normally have functioned. Oh, we all know differently. This may result in situations where people fail to adequately prepare themselves for disasters, and I can say I did. And on a larger scale, the failure of governments to include the populace in its disaster preparations. About 70% of people reportedly display normalcy bias in disasters. So I wonder if there's any pre and post tests down in Florida, North Carolina, or the Bahamas where the normalcy bias was tested. I wonder if anybody rushes out to do that before a terrible, catastrophic hurricane. For most Americans, the crisis of 2008 and 9 is now a distant memory, and the vast majority of the population seems confident that brighter days are ahead. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Brighter days are ahead, even if we must weather a short-term economic recession first. See, here's the hopium now, right? As a result, most people are not preparing for a major economic crisis, but that makes us, extremely vulnerable. In 2008 and 9, the horrible financial crisis and bitter recession that followed took most Americans completely by surprise. It'll be the same time this turnaround. He says, even though the warning signs are there. So there you go. This dude is talking about the economic collapse. And I have a couple of other things I had pulled up, but we'll do a little chat for a couple of seconds here on this and see what you guys are saying. Um, Max, we're not talking. What do you mean you're shadow banned all around? Okay, but not here. Anyway, unless I get kicked off. But hey, I just read a conservative Christian's article. So YouTube shouldn't kick me off, right? No. Okay, Keith says the economic unraveling has begun. Okay. Well, see, that's why I read this, because I believe that as we see the environmental, it's got to be concurrent with the economic. And even when it went down and everything went to shit in 2008, the environment was going to shit. Only nobody was talking about it like now, except for scientists. Now everybody's talking about it, or at least a lot of people are talking about it. He didn't mention it in his article, of course, but I got an article from HuffPost that actually was from 2008, and it was updated in 2011. And they were talking about, will the crisis, which is my other question, will it be good or bad for the environment? Especially with respect to global warming. Remember that they don't use global warming much. This was written in 2008. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the gist of it was no, nothing's good for our environment. But yet, today we could probably have that discussion with a Derek Jensen or Chris, the natural progressive, who would say, absolutely, the breakdown is going to be great for the environment because it might kill off people. All right, I'm not going there at this moment. I'm just going to where, at the time, 2008, they were talking about that they had steady growth in world economy driven by economic expansion in China and India, which, by the way, was probably because the United States shipping all our jobs there. Right? NAFTA and all happened. They were talking about the result was a dramatic projected increase in the emission of carbon dioxide, the leading source of climate changing greenhouse gases. Again, using Department of Energy projections, total emissions of CO2 were expected to increase by a frightening 22% between 2005 and 2015, from 28.1 to 34.3 billion metric tons. This increased rate of greenhouse gas emissions would precipitate global climate change, resulting in persistent droughts, increased storm activity, and a significant rise in sea level. Now, they were saying that all at the same time, however, the rising price of oil itself, caused by a sharp increase in demand, combined with growing awareness of the risks of global warming, to create an unprecedented spurt in investment in alternative energy ventures. Now, the upside, they say, the good news is that economic hard times will cause people to drive less, fly less, and otherwise consume less energy, thus lowering expectation for the greenhouse gas emissions that the article just said were so horrible. And that was back originally written in 2008. So it is, what, 11 years later, and we're absolutely horrible, and we've absolutely gone up in our CO2, and nothing good has happened in the environment, and we've gone to the right, and we're almost a fascist nation, and now our economy, we're going to go to shit, right? So what do we do? What do we do, guys? If we're piss poor, like, who's my friend that said they're piss poor? Bio, you know what? I think there's something to being piss poor, because we don't, you know what? What did Janice say? She sings in Bobby McGee. You can't lose what you don't, if you have nothing to lose, right? Well, I'm about to decide that I want to live like that, where I have absolutely nothing to lose. And I look around and I think, well, things, and you look at the guys, he's writing about all this economic collapse all the time, obviously. And back in 2008, HuffPost was writing about it, but I was looking more for the economic correlation the environmental correlation to a recession. And, HuffPost was saying there was the upside was that people will stop doing shit. They'll stop driving. They'll stop this. They'll stop that. But did we really ever see that happen? I don't remember. I had to go to work every day in 2008. I flew for my job. I don't remember that I gave up that much at the time. I remember that I was a good investor at the time and I didn't lose any money, but I don't have any now. but really, I'm insignificant. I'm just representing probably millions of people, as far as situations happen. So, where you guys, it was a lot. Karen, I'm with you, Sandy. Yeah, simplify. Get rid of everything, because if you can get rid of everything somehow and then keep yourself out of debt, it's got to be a better way to live. Because I've been both ways. I've been in debt up to my ears, and I have been out of debt and with not a lot. I've been poor. I made myself successful, but we've all been through a lot of this, right? But what do we see is happening? Oh, that's it. Oh my God. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. How could I have a song in my head for the last probably 50 years of my life and not remember the words? Thank you, anthropomorphic facsimile. Well, I do this like every time. It must be the aging process with words. So, let's see, guys. And the only other thing I had, Magical Thinking Barbie's with us. I'm going to put you on the screen to say, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're not anywhere where you're in a storm. So actually, I'm going to segue just a little bit to, before I do this, let's see how long we've been on. We've been on 22 minutes. Okay, got a couple more minutes because after that, Going South, he's with us. Hello, Torstein. Hello, hello, hello. I wanted to do something else before I left, because as I'm reading about economic collapse and we're talking about how it correlates with what's going on environmentally and ecocide and all the things that are happening that we read in the news, I just wanted to all I was going to do was go through and read you just what comes up on a Twitter feed. Okay? What comes up in the news part of a Twitter feed? The biggest one that came up right now for me was weed potency works differently when mixed with chocolate. Now, I saw that today and I thought, my God, I need to absolutely start having more chocolate in my life. And then the second one was Walmart ends the sale of handgun ammunition and asks customers to not carry guns into stores. Imagine that in the United States. In Texas, asking customers, please don't carry your guns into the store. Are we turning a corner? My God, Brexit might not go. Are we turning a corner? Are we going to kick the neoliberal scourge out? Maybe go down with the ship in class? Okay, next one. Shooting and pedestrian crash takes place at the Minnesota State Fair. Winston Churchill's grandson to be expelled from the Conservative Party after voting against Boris Johnson. Coast Guard suspends search for survivors after the California boat fire. And here's this is classic America. Popeye employees held at gunpoint over sold out chicken sandwiches. Literally. Got a gun pulled on them because they didn't have a chicken sandwich. We're finally getting a Hurricane Dorian. Florida braces for the storm. And did you hear about the chaos ensuing at the Newark airport? They evacuated a terminal. So there's the news. It goes on and on and on. Government defeated a no-deal Brexit agenda legislation. Here we go. But the biggest one, I guess for me, was the weed potency one. I wonder, is it AI? Is it that intuitive? Oh my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I just dropped my modem because nothing in the room that I sit in is in any good shape. Everything falls because it's a it's a mess. But I didn't lose you, did I? Nope. See, I don't even have it on the wall. I just put it on top of a box that's rickety. That's how professional I am. Okay, I'm trying to fix this thing. You see, when you get a green screen, it's got this fade level. And for some reason, maybe the background, it's a new background from Mindy. I'm going to blur the background. Nah, I like the background the other way. Mindy made it. It's absolutely beautiful. She's such a sweetheart. Oh, everybody is. All right, let's see. What are you guys talking about? Mm. Max says, sure. Sure glad the hole isn't at our end. Sinking ship classic phrases. Oh, you're all pretty cool. And Zox, he says, remember not to bring your gun into our stores or our concentration camps. There you go. The border. I didn't even mention the border and the clusterfuck down there, but there was an article about diverting Pentagon money earlier that I saw. You know, in my, I have absolutely no life because I hurt so much that I am an internet addict, social media addict, actually. And that's kind of like being an addict that, and it's ruining my life. It's ruining my life. I don't know. Maybe it's not ruining my life. Yeah. So I shut it down. We're done. And the topics are up to you. Oh, well, I have to read this one. Best discovery last year was Lily's chocolate. No sugar and still delicious. Good for you. Actually, I haven't eaten chocolate in months. I actually only use cocoa powder and I will mix that with uh, little coconut stuff. I changed my whole life. And that's why I'm really interested in getting my vegetables out. And that is a very slow go, but it's happening. Nothing's growing. Nothing's growing like it was supposed to. And but we're getting some enough for two that I can get through the winter, but I'm freezing stuff. I'm not sure about canning. But canning, of course, you always have. Freezing, you have to rely on electricity. And we lose power here, but you know, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Don't forget to like. Chris says, don't forget to like. You can push like all you want, though, only four. I really don't care because I don't show it. I don't show likes or dislikes because I don't care. I care about you. I don't care about my crappy 400-year-old Coca-Cola cup and straw. Hi, Oz. Oh, Oz says he liked. Uh-oh. Torstein says he's going to tell the truth about chocolate. Hey, why don't you do a live stream on chocolate? All right, guys. We have been 34 minutes. I said everything I wanted to say. To recap, there's a lot going on in the world. And this article I just read tells you the 28 reasons why economically, at least in the United States, we are taking it down, 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 and how it kind of correlates with our environment and climate change going down, 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 and the news of the day. Not very good. Not very good. And I wish everybody in the Bahamas safety and on the East Coast of our country, the United States. Please be safe. I really think about the people in the Bahamas, in the Grand Bahamas, they got nailed. And it's going to be a long time for them. And it can happen to any one of us. There is no certainty anymore. Economically, environmentally. So it's prepare time. Good night. And I'm going to leave with Ben's great comment. Invest in chocolate. Chocolate for the end times. They're a company. Chocolate for the end times. We'll have Hambone figure that one out. Good night, guys.